Hey folks, it's Shane from Finalizing EV. Today we're looking at overhauling the suspension on our electric Porsche 911. Hey folks, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us. So for those of you new to this channel, this is my project to put a Nissan Leaf motor into a Porsche 911. Now, we're getting close to being able to get this car on the road. The main thing that's stopping us is just getting the battery pack mounted, and for that I need to do a bunch of fabrication. I was trying to do it in a little corner of the garage. That wasn't working. So in the last video we managed to get the car out of the garage, which has created some space, but there's still a bunch of stuff around, basically from bits and parts and stuff that I've picked up that I know I'm going to need at some point in this project. And if I've been seeing them at a good price, I've just been buying them, because you know the way things are with shopping these days. If you don't pick it up when you see it, chances are when you go to look for it, it'll be gone. So I've got a bunch of those parts. I've stuffed as much as I can into the car, so the interior is just full of bits and pieces that I'm going to need to actually fit in the car, but there's still a bunch of stuff lying around and I just want to get it bolted on. So today we're going to do it. We're going to start getting the suspension components, which some of them come in pretty big boxes, as you've probably seen in the other video. Going to get them actually onto the car, and then I can just get rid of all the old components, and that'll free up some space and also means the car is a step closer to being roadworthy and road legal. So I hope you'll join me on this how to overhaul the front suspension on a Porsche 911. As with any of these jobs, first task is to jack up your car. Fortunately, past Shane has gone and already done this. Now, in terms of tools, what do you need to do this? It's pretty easy. You need whatever you need to get the wheel off the car, brake calipers off, and then it's basically just a series of 16 and 18 mil bolts. There might be one or two thrown in that need to be undone. You're probably going to need an impact driver, or at least a long bar or something to break the tension on them, because some of them are pretty highly torqued. But yeah, nothing too complex in terms of tools required. Maybe a ball joint breaker if you're looking to retain any of the components. I'm going to use a hammer to just bash the ball joints out, but that's just me being lazy, because they're bits I don't plan on reusing. They're already shot, so I'm going to get rid of them anyway. Anyway, let's get to it. So now we just need to get the brake calipers off. So there's a few different components at play here. Core to the whole thing is the shock absorber, which is connected, bolted to the body by the strut mount, and then goes down through the hub carrier and is bolted through. So the only thing that holds it in place is the actual drop link connection on that side, which hooks it into the sway bar. So we'll need to undo that in order to be able to separate these parts. Then when you look down below that, you've got our control arms. So we've got the main one going from the subframe through to the wheel hub carrier, and then a diagonal one bolting onto that, again connecting to a different part of the subframe. And then we've got our connections to the steering, which is a ball joint that connects from the end of the steering arm. So I think what I'll do first is I'll tackle the control arms and then sort out the shock after.
So one thing I've learned in doing car projects is that you can really cause yourself a whole load of heartache and pain by trying to save some time and not doing a simple task. Looking at how difficult some of the ball joint is to get access to underneath the hub, I think the best thing I can do is disconnect the brake and take off the caliper and disc to allow myself that little bit more access. So in order to avoid going after rusted bolts, what I'm going to do is actually break this connection, disconnect the brake line, let some of the fluid out, make a bit of a mess, but so be it, bolt it back together. And that allows me to get the caliper away from the hub and totally out of the action. And that should allow me to get access. So a gentle tap of the hammer got the tie rod end out. So you have to be careful doing this, that you don't deform the threads on the ball joint bolt or actually damage the ball joint itself. So one last thing we need to unbolt here is the connector for the ABS and brake pad wear sensors. So that's just bolted into the side of the hub. I'll just need to whiz that off, and that should then free things up. So now I've got a clear run at the 18mm bolt that holds on the drop link and therefore the strut to the wheel hub. So we'll get that off with the impact driver. So now the only thing holding this up is the upper strut mount, which is attached to the car. So yeah, let's get that undone and we'll bring it down. So here you go, we've got the 3 bolts of the strut mount coming through into the car. We'll get those undone. So this bolt is pretty securely held in place. I haven't managed to tap it out, so I think what we're going to have to do is basically cut it off, and then I should be able to use the impact driver on this side to screw it out. So here's the wheel hub carrier ready to go. I think it needs a really good clean before we can attach any of the new components to it. So let's get to it. So I had to cut the bolt off because it was totally seized, but it's really just showing how damaged and worn out some of the parts are. I'm going to have to replace more things on this than I thought, but fortunately parts of this car are still readily available. So the rubber spring top we can reuse, as we can do with the top mount is probably going to have to be replaced. It's actually looks a lot worse than it is, but there is signs of delamination of the bushing, so we'll replace that. And then the bearing that goes on top to allow the steering to happen actually appears in pretty good nick. So I think what we'll do with that one is just really repack it with some grease and put it back in place. It needs a bit of a clean up, but it's inside it looks pretty solid. And then we've got the bump stop, which I've never seen one in this bad condition. It's just totally perished, and is of no use to the car whatsoever, so we'll need a brand new one of those as well. The bellows that goes over the bottom of the strut is actually in fine condition. So a couple of days later, and the parts that I needed to order have finally turned up. So let's take a look and see what we've got. So here you've got the new bump stop to replace the totally perished one, a vast improvement. Then we've got the piece that holds the bump stop in place. It was kind of rusted to the point where it would have actually been cutting the rubber of the bump stop, so that was nice and clean now. And then we've got the two new kind of giant washers that are called, I think, stopper plates or something. So genuine Porsche parts, which is always good, and a new nut to go on the top. So let's go reconstructing. I just wanted to actually show you this. So this is a non-Porsche part that I bought. It was probably about a quarter or an eighth of the cost of the Porsche branded one. But looking at them, I'm pretty sure they're actually the same part, and I think it might have been made as a Porsche part, because it's got some suspicious looking grinding marks on the sides where the Porsche part numbers are, and all the writing and lettering and everything on the bushing itself is identical to the old one. So I think we stumbled across a pretty good component. So you need to be really careful when you're bolting the strut mounts back into the car, because this is where the camber adjustment for the Porsche, certainly for the front wheels, is. So you have to make sure all three bolts are in the same place in the kind of slotted hole as they were before. Fortunately on my car, because it was so old and grotty, the bolts had left some really nice marks that allowed me to line things up perfectly based on where they were before, which is pretty handy. Now it's time to fit the rest of the new components. I don't want to tighten up any of the main bolts until I've got some load on this hub and through the shock, and the main reason for that is that with these bushes, when they're properly bolted in place, the metal part, the middle part of it, is not going to move anywhere. It might as well be welded to the subframe, which means that any movement in the wheels and therefore in the arms involves tension on the rubber. So you want the arms to be in a pretty neutral position before you tighten them up, otherwise the rubber is already under load when the car is just sitting there, and then if you have any movement through the wheel the other direction, this actually puts way more load on that rubber bush than there should be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jack up the hub and put effectively the weight of the car through the shock, and that will then replicate the neutral position of the car just sitting on the ground, and that will give me the place to bolt everything together. So there we have it. First of our suspension overhaul parts done. Really happy with how that looks, and that's one less thing that I'm going to have to worry about when it comes to getting this car back on the road, so that's really good. Also, a little bit more space in the garage. So we're going to go and do the other 3 corners of the car. I am going to do a video on doing the rear section because it's throwing up a whole host of other challenges, all for the same reasons. It's an old rusty car. But yeah, I'll do another video on that, just show you how I went about that. And then in parallel to that, we're also just doing some kind of just clean up on the engine bay of the car and getting it ready so I can start working on fitting the battery box and fitting the motor back in more permanently. So that's, getting it all cleaned up, getting all the bits and bobs of wiring and pipes and everything that aren't being used anymore, just getting them out of the way and giving us a nice clean space to work on, because to be honest, it's gotten old working on in kind of dusty, grubby quarters. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing. As always, comments are really appreciated. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed what you've seen. And I hope you'll come back and join us for the future videos we've got going on this, as we try and get this electric Porsche on the road. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.